Hey everybody, Bob Babbitt here. We are at Oak Mountain and we're here for the second stop of the XTERRA World Cup. With me, co-hosting today, 37-time XTERRA champion and 2004 XTERRA World Champion, Jamie Whitmore. Jamie, you have been here a lot of times.
I have, and I'm excited to be here commentating this live stream, but I sure wish I were racing with these gals.
And today, yes, Samantha Kingsford from New Zealand was third. Susie Snyder, who you know very well.
I do. She was an amateur when I was back racing pro, and I think she had just gotten her pro card, so it's exciting to still see her out here racing.
41 years old and still doing it, and Luann Dufresne, who's ranked number 4 right now. And check out some interviews with our athletes.
This place is very, very beautiful. It's completely different from the European race. And this is nice to compete with the American girls. If I will win the second World Cup, I think I will be more relaxed for the second part of the season. And yeah, for sure, for the points, it will be amazing. So.
Second step for the XTERRA World Cup in Alabama, and I'm really looking forward for this race. And after my third place in Taiwan, I really hope maybe a better place and most to stay to be focused in the race. And
all right, we are at the swim start, Oak Mountain. You still get the butterflies, Jamie, even though you're not racing?
I do. It's always nerve-wracking before the start of any kind of race, and that just means that you want to do well.
So when you were racing, and were there certain people you wanted to sit on their feet? Did you try to pick people out?
Absolutely. I would try to be on the fastest swimmer's feet because I did not swim well.
And does it get a little hand-to-hand combat out there sometimes?
Always. I've been kicked in the stomach, I've been blasted in the goggles, and I've even had somebody shove me under the water.
Then let's look at the weather. 82 degrees, 94% humidity, wind 7 miles an hour. It's a hot day.
Oh, it's hot and humid, so these athletes are going to be super wet the entire race.
And also racing day, second day after a long course race yesterday has to beat you up a little bit.
It does. I mean, your legs are super tired, and then you've got to get them to go even faster today because it is a shorter, more powerful type of racing.
Let's take a look at our course. This is our XTERRA short track. And again, it's multiple loops, 2 laps in the swim, 3 laps in the bike, 2 laps in the run. It's just all out from the start.
I think I would like this because anything that's less swimming.
And what you were talking about yesterday, this is one of your favorite courses on the circuit just because it's a true mountain biking course.
It is. Anytime you have technical routes and twists and turns, it will separate you from the people that are just power riders.
And in road tri, you're behind in the swim, you're out of the race. Here, that's not the case.
Exactly. You have a shot all the way until the finish, and for me, it was always on the bike and the run that I would make up my time.
All right, we're getting ready for the swim start. Let's take a look at our standings World Cup. Alize is leading, Marta, who was second yesterday, and Loanne, followed by Susie Snyder, your buddy. It's a packed field, and the women are getting ready to go. I think they're probably in the hands of the starter. All right, there's our start list. You'll notice one person, Celine Belouin, is not racing. She didn't finish the race yesterday. You have to finish to be able to come in today.
Correct. You always have to finish the long course in order to be able to start the short course.
Okay. And our water temp, 78 degrees, so obviously no wetsuits for anybody.
No wetsuits, and I never liked swims like this. I liked them to be cold so that I could be more buoyant. Oh, yes, because you're more buoyant.
You want a wetsuit.
I want a wetsuit. I'm faster with a wetsuit.
Anytime you can cover every hands, feet, anything you can cover up, you're there.
Exactly, but there is a point to which it is too cold.
These moments before the start is always really, really get a little nervous right before this thing starts. But they raced each other yesterday, so you sort of think, Elise won by, what, 4 or 5 minutes, so you think that she would be the overwhelming favorite, but you don't know how beat up she is from yesterday.
Absolutely, and I think with such a short course, it really is anybody's race. As if you can hang on that swim and not give up time, and then the fact that this is such a short race, you're always going to be seeing your competition out there.
Did you surprise yourself sometimes in some races? You're like, wait a second, I'm closer to certain people I never thought I'd see.
Absolutely, but the worst was when I would have a bad swim, and then I was like, oh goodness, I have this much to make up on the bike.
Elise is leading. She won in Taiwan just in April, and comes back and wins the second race. So she is on a roll, and we're getting announced right now. Elise being introduced, heading into the water. It's a in-water start, I think.
Ooh, and you'll notice that each of the swimmers have different colored caps, and that's so we can identify them. And there's only one racer that has the gold cap, and that is our World Cup leader.
Elise is wearing a gold cap.
You know, it's funny because you're literally nervous up until the moment that cannon goes off, and then it's just you're in race mode. There's Susie.
You know, the nice thing about the caps, you really can't hide from each other. You know, okay, let's spot on her. And when you're coming in and you've been that defending champion before, you won 37 races over time. You know who you're up against every single. You know who you have to focus on.
Right, but oftentimes when you are wearing all the same caps, you have no idea who's who. So this would be really nice in the water to be able to identify.
Yep. We also have 5 amateurs who, because of how well they performed yesterday, are racing today. That's pretty cool, because your first race, you raced as an amateur, right, and took second overall?
I did. It was weird. I had a pro mountain bike license and then an amateur triathlon license, so it was a mix-up. But yeah, I did race as an amateur and ended up finishing second overall the pros.
And at that point, did you feel like, oh my God, I guess I can do well in this sport?
I did, and then the great Ned Overend said, Jamie, XTERRA is where it's at. This is where you can do well, and he was not wrong.
Because before that, you were mountain biking.
I was kind of teetering both on in road triathlons and then mountain biking, and XTERRA was definitely my niche.
Yes. In these races, there's a different feel to these races, XTERRA races, than a road triathlon. It just seems a lot more, not casual, but it seems like people can be friends with each other and then still go out and race.
Absolutely. I think for the most part, most athletes, like we want to beat each other because we were the best that day, not because we want to see our competitors have something go wrong. And I think that is the uniqueness about XTERRA, is we're a family.
You're totally a family, traveling all over the world. And let's talk a little bit about the whole World Cup series. We're talking $350,000, 7 stops, 12 races.
I think that's an interesting dynamic compared to what I used to do, which was just the long course. I like the different aspect because it can kind of showcase different people's strengths and their weaknesses, of course, but it just makes it more fun. It makes it to where the Europeans come here to race. It makes it to where it's more important for the Americans to travel abroad, and then you don't just see each other at Worlds. You're seeing each other the whole season.
And it's a long season because you started April 15th in Taiwan and finishes up with XTERRA Worlds in Trentino, Italy, September 24th. That's a long time to be racing, traveling all over the globe.
Absolutely. My season used to always start in April with Saipan.
There we go.
And they are off.
And in a small field like this, trying to find the right feet can be hard. It's going to separate fairly quickly, don't you think?
You know, absolutely. But yet it's only it's 200, and then they're going to come out and run and get in and do another 200. And I think this would be good for me, or at least the swimmers that aren't as strong, because you can gut anything for a short period of time.
And when the first buoy is so close, it can be a little carnage heading around that first buoy, right? It's only, you're talking, this is 200 yards total. So that first buoy, they're still all grouped up.
Absolutely. And back in my day, you'd also have like all amateurs racing with us as well. And going around the buoys, every once in a while, you'd have someone doing the breaststroke and just peg me right in the gut.
Nice.
So I do like that. I feel these ladies will not do that.
No. Yeah. All right, and I think we see the gold cap. Oh, look at it. See, we're heading that buoy right now. It is a little hand-to-hand combat coming around that buoy.
Yes, and that is all technique that you learn, get around that buoy as fast as possible. The nice thing about having such a small field is some people aren't going to have to sight. The person in front, she's having to watch. She's having to pull her head out and make sure she is swimming straight. But if you can follow feet and you know those feet go straight, you're going to have less likely opportunities to pull. You don't need to pull your head out.
So in the white, we have Jessica Colts is wearing a white cap, and I think our leader was in white. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it's looking like that is a white cap for sure.
Okay, and we've got a few. There's Heather Wilson is also wearing white cap, and Marnie Sumbal is wearing a white cap. So we've got a few different white caps out there. And Samantha.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what her number is. But she's getting a little bit of a gap out there. I mean, see how close all of those are together, and then she's got a nice lead.
So sometimes when somebody gets out the front, who, like you mentioned, you don't win the race. You can lose a race in a swim, but you're not going to win it.
Exactly.
Because there's so much time you're spending on the mountain bike and on the run. So there's probably a chance that the other gals know that the person up the front is not great on the mountain bike. Maybe they let her go.
Exactly, but then the tricky part too, though, is if you are a biker, when you go into single track, if you get stuck behind someone that maybe isn't as skilled as you are, that can definitely hold you up. So I remember being a swimmer, and when I would go into single tracks like here or Richmond.
Out of the water.
Nice. I would want to try and gut myself to not get stuck behind people.
Megan, okay. All right. Oh, it's Jessica Holtz. Jessica Holtz is our number one, who's wearing the white cap. She is from the USA, and she was first out of the water. Jamie, knowing in the 2 laps, you get out of the water, look back a little bit, see who's there, and try to run as fast as you can, because you'd much rather be running than swimming.
Oh, absolutely. The longer the run on the beach was to separate the swim, I was super grateful. So I definitely was always looking for where Melanie McQuaid was, my biggest rival. I always wanted to know where she was when I'd come out of that first lap.
And was she always in front of you?
Always in front. You know, she was such a strong swimmer, and I would just have to catch her on the bike.
That seems would be hard to do in these races. If you're in a road trial, you can sort of see where you're at. But with all the twists and turns and the trails, you're basically riding blind a lot of times. And you were talking to some of the folks who are doing short track. They're saying the nice thing about this, you're never alone, where most of the time you are alone when you're doing longer course.
Absolutely. On the long course, I would rely heavily on people giving me splits, telling me how far up someone was or how far back. Absolutely. I put key people out on those courses to tell me. So here, though, you're definitely kind of going back and forth. You've always got someone in front. And if you're not a strong swimmer and you're with the other swimmers, then I would always come out with a smile if I had a good swim, because it was less of a gap to make up on the bike.
All right, look at that. Elisa is right there. Lisa Baccaris, who a lot of times is doing road tri. Susie Snyder, 41 years old, still killing it. Susie yesterday was 5th in this field, so she's at 41. She's getting better.
Yeah, you know, 40's the new 20. I say that because I'm 47.
Yes, and Samantha Kingsford, who was 3rd yesterday, is right there.
Absolutely. So that gap was closed
out of the water.
There she is, Jessica Colts.
I'd say the other unique thing about XTERRA is that long run that you have to transition. Another opportunity to kind of close up the gap if you're somebody who can run.
Yep, and we saw Lise and we saw Samantha Kingsford right there. Not very far back at all.
Not at all. And you're going to see, you know, when I used to race, I always put socks on. Because trail running and mountain biking, I mean, blisters galore. And I saw a lot of blisters on people's feet yesterday, so it's going to be interesting if that affects them a little bit today on the run.
Because really nobody was wearing socks yesterday.
No.
Very few. Yeah, and they knew they were going to race today.
And here they are in transition.
Yep.
And you'll see them as fast as possible putting their helmets, glasses, shoes. They won't have socks, and they won't be wearing gloves.
And gloves can be important, especially if it's humid. Your hands can be slippery, and you really want to be able to control your bike.
Absolutely. On the longer course, I would always opt to have gloves, but I'd have them on my handlebars, and I wouldn't put them on until I was well into the ride. Because you do not want to waste time. And right at the beginning of this, there is some road, so you can draft.
I think Elisa is already in first.
Absolutely.
She's looking great and trying to double up this weekend. She won in Taiwan on April 15th to open up the season, so she is really on a roll right now.
And it's crazy literally how close they are. I mean, this is much more of a mountain bike race now.
Yes.
Because in my days, we would be separated, and even yesterday, you're
30
separated
seconds,
by
45,
30 seconds is huge.
Yep, yeah.
And here they are just on top of each other, so you hope the person in front of you is good at single track.
Well, and is there a certain point where you know there's a lot of single track? This is a little wide here. You want to get past people before you get to single track. It's hard to pass in a single track.
Absolutely. Man, I would gut myself to be able to have that jump into there.
The whole shot.
Yeah, to not have anybody holding me up.
All right, we have most of our field on the course.
This is only 7.5 miles on the bike.
I know. Well, it's actually, we've got, what's our total?
Or no, it's like 7.5
7.5K.
7.5 kilometers.
Yes, we're talking 3 laps of 2.5K. What's great about this, a lot of times when you're watching XTERRA, they're off in the woods, you can't really get a signal, you're not seeing what's going on. Here, we're watching the whole race. There's no place to hide, you can't disappear, and you're up close and personal with some of the greatest athletes on the planet.
Right, and I noticed most of these gals are running full suspensions. I probably would still be opting for my hardtail.
Really? You'd still go hardtail?
Yes, because it's like you can just get out of the saddle, you can sprint, there's no give in it at all. I mean, I'm still a hardtail through and through to this day, but I am on a 29er finally.
So yeah, that's been one of the bigger changes, right? When 29ers came in, because it was what, 27.5, you had 26, then 29.
Yeah.
What, did you race at all on 29
I
in your career?
never raced on a 29er. I was like, I mean, I still rode a hardtail almost till the day
Really?
I was forced out of retirement. I think sometimes I did race the Scalpel and the Rush for Cannondale, but I loved my hardtails.
How much have the mountain bikes changed over the years?
You know, I would say my 29er probably weighs as much as my 26. It's insane because I still have mine. I have all my Cannondales, I have all my felts. It's hard for me to let go of stuff.
Right.
My kids are now riding them, but my felt 29er hardtail is as light as them. And it's, oh my goodness, the bottom bracket is higher, so I can clear so much more when I'm climbing uphill. And it's amazing. And
it's made a big difference in terms of the speeds that we see in these races.
Absolutely.
And,
I mean,
and way more comfortable, which means you're getting off the bike and able to run.
Exactly.
You're not as beat up as you used to be.
Exactly. I remember Ned Overend says the older you get, you want a full suspension. Well, I'm 47 and I'm still loving my hardtail.
Right. And Ned, who XTERRA champion, mountain bike world champion before that, he was a guy who wasn't going to make that move to dual suspension, but then he realized, okay, this is way better.
Oh, he did. He loved it, and then he swore that full suspension should be raced on all the time.
And now, look at coming along a little bridge. That's what makes this thing fun. It seems like every 20 feet there's some new obstacle or some new challenge.
Absolutely. As you can see some of these routes on there. I mean, that's for someone who's timid on a mountain bike, if it were raining, it would be a game changer right there.
Is it ever an issue because you got the sun and there's shadows and we're a little later in the day? Do you have to deal with that? Because obviously you want to be able to see any gaps in your way.
Absolutely. I would say this is the main reason why they're all on full. Can't with not worrying about that as much, you'll just plow right over. If you were on a hardtail, you would kind of need to pick and choose your lines much more.
And if it was wet right now, this thing could be treacherous.
Oh, it could be super slippery, especially if you were coming out of the saddle and trying to race to get by someone. Definitely you'd need to be quick.
So when we look at the results from yesterday, Elise went 2:47.18, and Marta, who had the fastest run of the day, 2:50.258. So that was a big chunk. And right now, Elise looks like she's repeating what she did yesterday.
Absolutely. She is showing that she is a strong all-around athlete for sure.
When you're doing a race this short, do you even think about trying to save anything for the run, or you just go as hard as you can and figure my run's going to be what the run's going to be?
I feel like the type of racer that I am, it's like I'm going from the start, and whatever I have left is what I have left, because I just don't think there's room to wait. If you wait, you might not. I mean, you might miss your opportunity.
When we talk rivalries, probably one of the greatest rivalries in the history of XTERRA was you and Melanie McQuaid, right? And a lot of times people will tell me, well, you know what, we traveled together, we roomed together, we went to races, tried to kick each other's butt, and then got back in the car and did it again the next week. Then there's people who really didn't do any of the above. And I think that was that rivalry, correct?
Yeah, I'd say much like the, what is it? It was Dave and Mark.
Scott,
yeah.
Mark Allen, yes.
I mean, we did not have a lot of love for each other during our racing career, but I think that kind of added to the dynamic of our rivalry, is that we had mutual respect.
Yes.
But like, you know, we would want to punch each other in the throat if it came down to it. Like, you know, of course, when I got sick, she definitely was there for me, and you know, we speak, and I'm sure we would hang out and be fine today, but...
Once you're retired, Mark and Dave can hang out now, too. Talk a little bit about that, because your career was cut short. You diagnosed with cancer, ended up having to have your sciatic nerve cut to the point where you couldn't run again. Having to retire, how hard was that on you?
Man, it's always bittersweet, because XTERRA was my niche, XTERRA was my family, and I had made so many friends around the world. And it was really hard to be in the hospital battling cancer and seeing all of these really cool places that XTERRA starting to go.
Yes.
And I always imagined I would have the Lance Armstrong story of coming back and after cancer, until I found out that I now had a disability. So, you know, I found a second career and you know, found my niche in Paralympic cycling.
And when you found Paralympic cycling, they're coming right through here again. Again, we got 3 laps. How fun is this, Jamie? We get to watch the race happen right in front of us.
Oh, absolutely. And then to know someone is breathing down your neck like this is incredibly, man, it's so intense.
Yeah. Elise is still leading, and we've got on second lap coming through. 13:59, 14 minutes into the race.
See, this is where I would be out of the saddle on my hardtail, just like pushing as hard as I could to get up this hill.
For people who don't understand it, when you're on a road bike, getting up out of the saddle is not that big a deal. But when you're on a mountain bike, getting up out of the saddle is a big deal.
Absolutely, especially if you're on a full suspension. It tends to give a little bit more, so then you've got more bounce. I mean, some of the newer models are, you know, they lock out really well. But it's also heavier.
Yes.
So, and you know, on the downhill, you'll notice there's a lot more coasting, whereas on a road bike, you're pedaling those downhills.
Looking at some of the form on the bike, it's interesting. For me, you can sort of tell who is very, very comfortable on a mountain bike and who is a little tactical, a little maybe unnerved by the downhills and the tight turns. Could you tell that when you were racing? Okay, this person's going to have some issues here.
Absolutely. I would say turns and descending is always the tell. You know, how aggressively someone comes into a turn would determine their skill level.
Here's our update right now. Elisa's in first. Samantha Kingsford, who was second yesterday, who was third yesterday, is second right now. Loanne Duvesson is in third. Marta Mendito, who had the best run of the day yesterday, and ended up in second. And Jessica Colts, who led our swim, is hanging in there in fifth place. Good for her.
You know, now I suppose it comes down to they're on their second lap, I believe.
Yes.
2 or 3 laps.
And then they will have one more lap to go, and then it is an all-out run to the finish line.
We're talking probably a 30-minute-ish race.
I mean, it's so short, it's insane, and yet it's not short.
And this is the first time they've done this where you raced, and I think this is the first short track race in the U.S. for XTERRA. This is the first one they've ever done in the U.S. And the whole setup this year was a $350,000 7-stop tour, 12 races. Started at April 15th in Taiwan. September 24th is the Worlds in Trentino, Italy. And they have to There's
Where do we head next?
we go to Belgium, Germany, Czech, and then we come back here. But it's the best 4 long distance results from 6 full distance races, and the best 3 short distance races that you put those together. So you really can't win this unless you're doing them all, right?
Absolutely. And I think the key is showing up to all the races, even though you can only count so many, is because you want to block other people from scoring higher.
Ah, so you want to be racing. So if you go to the race, so you finish in front of them to keep somebody from moving up past you.
Absolutely. Otherwise, I mean, because then the scary part is waiting until the very end, and and then if there's a tie somehow, although there are odd numbers,
Right.
but you never know based off of how someone else might finish. They could throw the points array, but if you show up to all of them, then it's a better likelihood of you defending your spot, your position.
When we look at this, you're coming out of the light and into the sort of the darkness. You've got your sunglasses on, so you have to make a decision what lenses you're going to use, because do you want something that's make this area bright, or you can darken it for when you're riding through the sun. This could be fairly treacherous for our athletes. I was going to say that again, two 200-yard swims, 3 2.5K bike rides, and we're talking laps, 7.5K, and the run 1.5. It's about at the 1.5K, 3K run. That is a sprint, and a mix of gravel and a little bit of grass and single track and
a little
some
hill.
Climbing, yes,
Yeah.
little punchy hill. And you talked about that, getting into a flow.
Absolutely. And think about it. We're 18 minutes into the race. I'd still be swimming if this was a long course.
Well, in balancing between yesterday, 1.5 swim, 30K bike, 10K run, that's a long event, 2 hours-ish. And then today, you're actually closer to 3 hours.
Yeah.
Then today, you're doing something that's going to take 30 minutes. You would assume 2 different type of athletes.
I mean, but we're seeing that it's not the case right here.
Right, Elise is sort of dominating from the front, but the mechanical side of this, have you had races where I'm dominating, next thing you know, on your side of trail?
I've had 2 races ever in my entire XTERRA career that I had mechanicals. One was Richmond, Virginia, where I fell off a bridge and broke my seat post. I could not finish the race. It was my first DNF, and I was heartbroken. My second one was in Tahoe at the USA Championship, and I got one of the infamous flume nails in my tire. I was able to fix it and still finished in 4th place that day to win the series.
But if you didn't fix it, you're out of the series.
Oh, I would have been out of the series. And that, I kind of liked stuff like that. I liked the mentality of you finish at all costs,
yes,
regardless. And I was pretty impressed with the fact that I was able to run my way into 4th place when I was probably last amongst the females.
And with our results from yesterday, Elise Patis was first, and Marta Mendito was second. Samantha Kingsford was third. Lizzie Orchard, who won last week in the UK. So, and then Susie Snyder was right there in a course like this to make sure people don't go off, especially your first place person.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why the blue markers are for bike and red is for run, and it is always, yeah, it's always well marked, and it's just so exciting to have them be this close.
They're all right there.
I think it gives you extra incentive.
I think we just had Susie Snyder go through.
A little obstacle, as you saw, it was kind of a ramp that she dropped off of. Here's a little log.
Positioning on the saddle when you're there. Here's an update. Lisa in first, Loanne Duasen in second, Samantha Kingsford in third, Marta Mendito in fourth, and Katie Button in fifth.
I would agree with that.
All right. That's a workout for your cameraman.
It is. And they are, I mean, the key is just staying within striking distance of those in front of you. And then those in the front, it's trying to drop the people right behind you.
Well, because you don't want anybody near you when you start the run, right?
No.
You just don't know.
I think this is a lot more like, say, an Olympic distance triathlon, where it matters coming out of the water, it matters being able to draft each other, and then sticking together on the run. It makes for a much more intense race.
This is about as intense as it gets.
Very.
Susie Snyder wearing number 4 and looking.
No, it's like 4th and
looking
5th
great.
place. Meter.
It's exciting. We can see some people coming right by transition here, and then watching on the screen, we're seeing people climb.
Right. This is the best way to show an XTERRA race.
It absolutely is. It is so spectator friendly. If you have not seen one of these live, I would encourage you to come, stay for the race, and just cheer these guys on.
How would you determine in terms of tire pressure, tires you use in a race? Would it change depending on the terrain?
Yes, if it's wet, you want a lower tire pressure to kind of stick to the ground more. The drier it is, you can have a little bit more tire pressure in there.
Got it. One of the more scenic races around.
It is. This place is so beautiful with all of the trees and the nice single track trails. Then you've got the water on one side.
And here's our update again. Elisa Patias is leading, and Loanne Duesin is in second. Samantha Kingsford in third. Marta Medito in fourth, and Susie Snyder in fifth. 23:32 into the race. That's the first time that we've seen our young athlete from Austria. She's actually racing as part of the NCAA collegiate program on the roads.
Nice.
Yes. And for 24 minutes into the race.
We're going to start seeing a bit of fatigue right now, as our leader should be coming through for the third lap.
I think we just saw Megan Henry from the U.S. go through. Yep, that's Megan Henry going through right now.
So we have our top 5. Still holding strong. Susie's in 5th. Is it Marta in 4th? Kingsford in 3rd.
Alisa still leading, Loanne in second, Samantha in third. That's where Samantha was yesterday, and she's holding in there. And actually, they're pretty true to form from yesterday's racing.
Yeah, it is. It's almost on par with yesterday's results.
Probably we'll see the lactic acid buildup when people dismount and take off on this really, really fast run.
Oh, for sure. And cramping could very well be an issue. It depends on how well they recovered from yesterday, making sure they got their electrolytes in and stuff before starting today. Because, I mean, that can take anybody out of the run.
Sometimes when you're doing a race like this, and you think, oh, so fast, I really don't have to drink much. I really don't have to. And when doing these type of races, would you carry bottles? Would you use a Camelback? What would you do?
You know, if it's about a 30-minute race, I'd say no.
Yes.
I wouldn't say fuel or hydration is necessary. It's what you do before. But when you start getting into that 40 to 45 minute, I would say yes. Even just a sip or two of water is going to get you to that finish line.
When you do a multiple lap course, the first lap you feel fresh, and then the second lap is like, whoa.
Absolutely, and remember, it's always thinking about that last leg of the race. What you do on the bike matters.
How's our update again? So Lisa still leading with Loanne in second, Samantha in third, Marta in second yesterday in fourth, and Susie Snyder, 41 years old, hanging in there.
Hanging on to 5th place. Those are our top 5 right now.
That's a steep little grunt on that climb there. It looks that right there. That is a tough climb, and you try to slide back in the saddle for those type of climbs.
You know, I would come forward. I'd be scooting forward, yes, and then your elbows will drop.
Yes.
And then you'll lean forward more so that your front end doesn't lighten up and kind of pop up. You're wanting to weight that front end. Oh, whoa.
Oh, getting ready.
Yep.
Ready for, there we go.
Into transition, and you'll
Elise,
notice
number 1.
taking off the shoes, running in barefoot. She's going to be lightning fast in there. And with this short of a race, transition matters.
Yes, it does. So let's see how long, much of a gap she.
See, this
right
is
there.
close.
Loanne, right
This
there.
is super exciting to have it be this close.
Good transition for Lisa. Aliza in first, Loanne coming in second right there, Samantha Kingsford, Marta Medito, Susie Snyder in fifth.
Yeah, so we have first and second are out on the run. Third is in transition, putting her run shoes on as we speak. And now it's who can run the 3K the fastest.
And yesterday, I don't think Loanne had the race that she wanted. She was 7th yesterday, and right now she's sitting in second. Samantha Kingsford looking back. You want to make sure you know who's coming. She knows who's in front of her.
Right.
Wants to make sure that nobody surprises her.
Yes, and we don't even have fourth place in transition yet. And now we do. Fourth place, is that Marta?
Yep,
coming into transition.
Marta had the fastest run of the day yesterday, so we will see some fireworks as she takes off.
Right, I mean, I believe she could make up some ground here. They are not that far ahead of her.
Yeah.
And Susie, fifth place, is now in transition.
And yesterday, Marta was 5th off the bike.
Yes.
And ran her way up into second place, catching Samantha towards the end of the race. I think it was like 1K to go. Look at right away, her form is amazing.
Yeah, the question is, does she have enough real estate to catch those gals?
If anybody can relate to that, it's you, because you spent a lot of time coming from behind.
Absolutely. Nico LeBrun's another person I would say ran a lot of people down in his career.
Yes.
But now we have 6th and 7th and 8th place entering transition.
We have them all there. And Susie Snyder taking off.
Oh, exciting. So we have 2 laps of the run course, 1.5 kilometers.
That is so short. Of course, right now they're not thinking that.
Oh no, they're hurting right now.
All right. Katie Button coming up. Katie Button's out on the run. There come more cyclists who are going to be heading into transition.
But so far, the turnover of everyone leaving transition has looked really good. I'm not seeing a lot of fatigue.
No. When I'm betting that the bike almost loosened their legs up from everything they were dealing with yesterday, the fatigue of that 10K run.
That was just a warm-up. Opener for today.
Oh.
And
when your legs are that fatigued, any little obstacle can become a big obstacle. You got to worry about rolling an ankle here.
Yeah, I definitely say the difference between off-road. Oh, looks like second place just went into first.
Yes. We have Loanne Dumasson has now taken the lead over Lise. Wow, we have a race. Okay, so now you have, and now I think we have somebody else joining the party.
This is Marta.
This is Marta, who had the fastest run of the day yesterday, ran her way into second place.
Oh, she is hunting them down.
Yes.
I did. Got more runners on
This is very exciting, and I would not be surprised to see a sprint finish.
And Samantha looks great too. Samantha from New Zealand, having a great race.
I'd say the key here is relaxing those shoulders.
I was going to say, she looks so tight in the shoulders.
She looks very tense, which makes it harder on your body to have a fast turnover. You saw the first 3 were looking really good. See how relaxed they look in their shoulders?
Well, and Loanne obviously does not want Alize anywhere near a sprint finish at the end.
No. But Marta is hunting them down.
What's difficult is when you get caught, very seldom does a person come back and catch you back. You find that happen?
I would say in the longer distances.
It does?
But this short track, I'd say no, it doesn't usually happen in longer distances, but this being a short track,
yes,
you never know. I mean, if someone just sits there and wants to rely on that sprint finish, then maybe you take a breather and you sit on the other 2, and then you leave it down to the sprint if you're confident in your sprint.
When you're running along and you don't see anybody, is it hard to stay mentally in when you're like, where are they? Or they must be too far ahead.
I think it depends. Again, this is strategically having people placed. If you're getting word on where folks are, then that can kind of give you incentive.
Right.
But here they see each other. On this course, those gals are seeing
time.
exactly where each other are.
So right now, we've got Loanne Dumasson is leading. We've got
and here comes Susie. Marta. You can see her really looking strong on this run.
We've got 3 ladies getting ready to come back from the first.
Marta, you can tell Marta has that cross-country, like it seems like she got cross-country running background. Fastest run of the day yesterday, ran her way from 5th up into 2nd. Caught Samantha Kingsford in the last K.
Right, and we should be seeing them come through. Here is our first place and second place. We're talking a matter of seconds separating them.
Let's see. Yeah, there is Loanne Dumasson.
She is in first. And Elise is in second.
Yes. Yep. Loanne Dumasson in first, and Elise is in second place.
And Marta is chasing them down, and
yes.
she is running out of time.
She is running out of time.
Oh! We have Samantha in third. That is Samantha in third.
So Samantha has caught Marta?
Or was she always in third? Hard to say. But those are our first 3. So Loanne,
yes.
Elise, and Samantha are our first 3. We have not yet seen Marta.
Interesting. Thought Marta was in front earlier. Obviously, Samantha is having a great run.
She's having an absolutely spectacular run.
She was third yesterday and probably was not very happy that Marta caught her in that last K.
Right.
All right. All right, so Loanne is leading, Elise in second, Samantha in third, Marta in fourth, Susie Snyder in fifth.
And as you can see, Marta is 1 minute down with only 1.5. This is super exciting.
Little man-made obstacle
I
there.
know, I was like, they're throwing those little obstacles in.
Like you need more obstacles.
And when you step off those, if you step off wrong, your quad might cramp.
Yes. And now Lizzie Orchard, who last week won in the UK.
Oof. Looking
There's
really
our update
good.
again. Loanne Dumasson, Alize Paties, Samantha Kingsford, Marta Mendito, and Susie Snyder in fifth.
And we are 36 minutes into this race
Yep.
with the finish coming very quickly.
Now we assume the women would be about 40 minutes and the men would be about 30 minutes. Great racing. And from yesterday, the top 3 were Alize, Marta, and Samantha. And Loanne was 7th. So Loanne has been the hard charger today, going from 7th yesterday to leading and really putting a gap on Alize.
Absolutely, but the long course does weight heavier than the short course, if I'm correct.
Yes, it does. It does. And the tour is, the World Cup is $350,000 for the, again, 7-stop, 12-race tour that started April 15th at Taiwan and will finish up in Trentino, Italy on September 24th at World Championships.
I got third place,
So on the screen right now is Samantha.
Now the question is, Samantha trying to catch Alize potentially for 2nd place.
Absolutely. She's definitely got a very fast turnover. And there's our first place on the screen right now.
Heading towards the finish, I'm guessing. Yes.
Yes, right along the lake.
Yes, right along the lake.
She should be coming in
We should
here.
be able to see her.
Absolutely, there she is. I can see her through the trees. And she has absolutely opened up a bit of a gap there. And there's Marta on the screen, who last time we checked was in 4th place. So here comes
Loanne Dumasson.
Oh no, she is going on her 2nd lap.
Oh. Loanne should be heading towards the finish here shortly.
Where do you go to?
It's kind of the cool thing about the loops is they're everywhere. Up, here we come. We have our first place
Loanne,
finisher.
yes, she's coming. Luann Dubuisson,
All
7th place
smiles.
yesterday, winning today.
Now we will see if Marta holds on to 4th.
Yes.
And Susie if she can hold on to 5th. So,
Luann coming back from 7th place yesterday, which I know she wasn't happy with. But look at, she went 3 hours yesterday. Alize went 2:47.
I mean,
So
that's
we're
13 minutes.
13 minutes, and today she flips the tables. It shows you can't mail in your resume.
Exactly.
You've got to,
Going on her second lap.
second lap, yep.
You can see some of our runners still
We're
still on that run course.
Amazing experience so far.
So we're expecting Marta Mendito, who took 2nd yesterday, to 4th. Okay, Marta Mendito's a
146 back, and Susie's about 140 back.
140 back of Marta. Got it, okay. All right. Very impressive racing. Here we go.
I hear people cheering. And here comes Marta.
Marta Mendito is getting 4th today, 2nd yesterday. Another great run, another great finish for our XTERRA athlete from Italy.
I love how the sport is continuing to evolve all the time. Adding in this World Cup series brings the Europeans here, brings the Americans overseas, going to places like Taiwan. I mean, we just didn't have that. So now we are waiting for Susie to round out 5th place. And she was 5th yesterday.
She was 5th yesterday, so having 2 5th place for 41-year-old athlete is very impressive.
I think it's very impressive.
That was a phenomenal run by Luann.
It really was.
Because you think about it, if you were Alize right now.
Oh, it looks like Susie has fallen to 6th, and is that Lizzie?
That's Liz. Wait.
And
Yeah,
Susie's
so, yeah.
fallen to 7th
So,
place.
Lisa Beccaris, and that was Lizzie Orchard, who won last week in the UK. And then we got Susie Snyder. Okay, got Susie Snyder in 6th. And Lisa Beccaris, who was 6th yesterday, took 5th. And Susie drops down to 6th place.
7th.
7th.
She was
She's
7th
now. That's right. That's right.
Man,
Oh my
very
God.
close racing.
I'll tell you, when you with the multiple loops, keeping track of who's where is very intriguing.
Right? And that's kind of the other hard thing about this being so
Another
short.
finisher.
Nice. Like, they really started to bunch up on this run and swap positions more so than the bike.
Oh, that's Katie Button.
Nice. Finishing in a strong 8th. So the comments about being never alone is
Yes.
very true.
Very true. Yeah, I was talking to Lisa this morning a little bit ago, and she was saying, God, these things are so much different than racing roads. When you just put your head down and go for 70.3, you know, it's a different game.
It really is.
There we go, 3rd place.
And capturing the 2nd place spots from France, Alazine.
They have got champagne. I love that.
Here we go. And our champion.
From Switzerland, please welcome taking the 1st place in the short track today, Luann Dubuisson.
From Switzerland.
Congratulations, Luann. That is a huge win.
That really is.
Let's give a huge round of applause.
Now, all these athletes, because the next race will be in Europe, they'll be heading back to Belgium for the next part of this.
That's going to be an interesting race. Belgium's pretty flat.
Yes.
And cold.
It's cold, right? Of course
Colder.
No, but it'll be like June, early June, or late May, by early June.
Ladies, congratulations. And guess
That's
what,
amazing.
ladies and gentlemen, we're getting
I love how
ready to
quickly the
have
awards
something
is
over
after
here. We're
finishing.
so
Perfect.
packed. We've got the
Right?
men's race.
Now it's time to go party. And think about the time was it, did they come right around 40? And see the final winning time.
And then what, in 6 minutes we start the men's race?
Yep, we do. Okay, we're going to be having some highlights from this race, which will be rolling in momentarily. And then we'll be moving over to the men.
Man, this is
Another finisher coming in.
super exciting.
All right, ladies, congratulations.
I like fast-paced racing.
There's nothing better. Another finisher coming across the line. Like me close to a little highlight package here. The champion getting interviewed.
And how exciting is this footage? You know, XTERRA has always been known
Well,
for
cutting
their
edge.
amazing footage of the race and the athletes.
Uh-huh.
I mean, this is like top-notch filming here.
Well, nobody showcases the athletes like Ironman and
First
XTERRA.
short track in the United States, you won. How does it feel?
I'm so happy. Even more with my race yesterday, who was really bad. It was just a bad day. So really happy to push my limits today and to take the win.
On the run, you passed Alize. Tell us how that was and how hard it was to keep the lead.
I just start the run and try to just keep my breath and then try to push her on the uphill. And then I think I passed her on the big uphill in the first lap. And then I was really not sure to be able to just keep this little gap. But then I just tried to push and to keep running. I made it.
How does it feel to win the first short track at Oak Mountain?
Yeah, it's really cool, and I think I really love this kind of race in short races. And I think also in the first short track in Europe, I also take the win that was in Czech. And so, yeah, I'm really happy to take the win.
What do you think of this crowd here today?
That was really good. The track was also really fun, a bit not so much technical, but really fast and fun track.
And in Swiss, how was it to win the first short track
In Swiss?
in your language?
Ah, ok. Alors, je suis super contente de prendre la victoire aujourd'hui. C'était vraiment un jour assez dur hier, et puis j'ai eu de la peine à aussi me remettre dedans, parce que c'est vrai que quand on s'investit comme ça, et puis qu'il y a un jour qui est aussi mal que hier, c'est pas toujours facile de se remettre dedans, mais je crois que c'est plutôt bien allé, et puis ça allait beaucoup mieux aujourd'hui, donc contente de la course. Thank you. Thank you.
There you have it. All right. Jamie, any final thoughts on watching your first short track?
I love it. I mean, it's a great case of the all-around athlete, you know, and how you play. It was neat to see the change up during that run.
Yes.
Different from yesterday. I mean, I love that. It's not fun seeing the same people win.
Here's our highlight package.
I liked it all. It was just super short and fast.
Obviously, it was a new day, and we're going to see athletes who really are short course specialists.
Absolutely, and you heard that it wasn't very technical, and so, I mean, that kind of maybe makes a little bit of a difference for the people who do tend to be better on those technical sections.
Love it. Time to get ready for the men's race in just a little bit. All right. Here's the run, and I think this is where we saw the pass.
Yes.
And Elise, you can see tightening up the shoulders, the head bob, and then the pass, and she's gone.
Yep. And Marta looking very strong.
Looking very strong. But Samantha Kingsford was also amazing.
She was just solid, like literally solid yesterday, solid today.
Podium both days. Nothing wrong with a podium.
Here we are seeing that finish.
That is sweet, being able to see the finish. And this is congratulations, Loanne Duasson, and Next thing you know, we're going to be watching the guys.
I'm excited.
Just a couple minutes. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. For Jamie Whitmore and him and Bob Babbitt, we'll be back momentarily with the men's race.
I'm a winner till the day I die. I'm a winner till the day I die. I'm a winner till the day I die.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Oak Mountain, the second stop of the XTERRA World Cup. And again, I'm with Jamie Whitmore. Jamie, we get to watch the men race this time.
I'm super excited. It was a very close race yesterday, so it's anyone's win today.
Absolutely. So our Arthur Serrier went 2:25.30. Our fifth place guy went 2:27.04. So it's like less than 2 minutes between the top five. It's going to be crazy racing today.
Absolutely.
So when you're out there and you've been racing when you were racing back in the day, did you go ride the course with the guys to try to learn the line a little bit? Did you learn from each other?
Always. I mean, definitely you have to learn to ride the good line and the bad line so that if you had to pass someone in that section. And so I always was getting tips from the guys based off of which line they would pick.
One of the surprises yesterday was Eric Lagerstrom, who's coming from the world of road triathlon. And let's take a look at some of our top five for today. Arthur Serrier, overwhelming number one. He won yesterday with a great battle with Eric Lagerstrom, who's not on this list because he did not do Taiwan, the opener of the series. The guy who's leading the series right now, Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen from Denmark. He finished third in both these races. You know Josiah Middow.
I do, and it's excited to see his familiar face out here still racing. I don't feel old yet.
Well, and he's racing with his son. And let's check out some interviews with athletes.
The goal for me, I think, here is to just take some confidence because I lose 2 races in a row and I used to win a lot. Like, I used to win pretty everything. So, yeah, I want to take confidence. And, yeah, if I can win both races, it's going to be really good for me. And I will try to do it.
Yeah, with this being the first year of the whole XTERRA World Cup, this is a little bit of a trial race for me. I've been here before, I didn't finish, so I feel like I have a little bit of unfinished business just to get around the course successfully. But also, I think if it goes really well and I get on the podium, then I'll take a look at getting more involved in the series.
All right, we are back at Oak Mountain State Park in Pelham, Alabama. My name is Bob Babbitt. I'm with Jamie Whitmore. Very excited. Now we get to watch the men race. This is the best thing we can do, James. Water temperature, 82 is air temperature, humidity 94%, wind 7 miles an hour. It's a little later in the day. Cloud cover going in and out, but it is humid and it's hot.
Yes, and it's definitely warming up from yesterday's morning race. But, you know, that's going to play a factor in today's sprint.
Yes. Here's our standings. Leading the World Cup, he's been third. He was third yesterday, and he was third in Taiwan. Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen is leading 100-yard swim. We're talking 200. So
Two 200s race. You know, we had our lead swimmer kind of get a big chunk, but we've got 2 swimmers just staying together.
Yeah, and again, our leader of the series, Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen, he is in the gold cap because he is leading the series. And Eric Lagerstrom was the person who led the swim yesterday. We'll know when they hit the beach here who's got the lead after lap 1.
And they are not far from exiting that beach, which was always my favorite part, get a little break from the swim.
Now, it looks to me to be a pink and an orange, and they're showing Lagerstrom wearing white. So that's there's Eric in third out of the water. That makes sense. Getting out of that's a big step up.
Oh, it is. And we just saw our yesterday's winner coming out in this pack.
It looks really slippery. Remember, the women just raced here, so it's a little slick as they go through.
And they are all strung out, and the advantage of being in the back is you can keep your head in the water and just focus on your swim, whereas the people leading have to often sight for the next buoy.
Exactly. And what we don't know is how fatigued people are from yesterday. That was a hard race, a hot race. It was all go from the very beginning, and certainly that takes its toll when you try to race the next day.
Absolutely, and I think all of our swimmers have entered or exited and entered back in, and here we have our lead two going around the buoy for their second lap. And it is close. I mean, they are just definitely tightening up here.
Yes, it is, and they're heading for the final turn buoy before they head for home. I think the whole field is going to be pretty close together.
Oh, so close. This is where transition's going to matter, and the run from the exit of this swim.
Michele Bonacina. Keller Norland, who is a part of our Project Podium U.S. team. He's here with Sullivan Middow, and they came here from Arizona to be part of this. Eric Lagerstrom in third, who was second place yesterday. Sam Osborne, who took third yesterday, is in fourth, and Edmund Roy is right there in fifth place as they head towards the beach.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be so
It's going to be
close.
so fast and furious heading into transition. We got three swimmers right together.
And they are right on top of each other.
Yes, they are.
It looks like Eric has
He's-
maybe
yeah.
kind of come into first now. He's the one in the white cap.
Right. I think Eric loosened up a little bit.
Yes.
Yep. Eric is in the white there, and Mr. Bonacina is having
Is
a great
it?
race.
Yeah,
yes.
right next to each other in the orange cap.
Yes.
And who do we have in pink? Is it Arthur? No?
All right, they're going to be coming out of the water soon, and when they do, then it's transition time. Jamie would take the time to put socks on. I'm guessing that we won't be having any sock putting on today.
And here they come. It's all exiting the water is always kind of like discombobulating because you've just been horizontal in the water and now you're vertical.
Now you're vertical and running.
Absolutely.
Running hard.
Yes, and as you can see, it is quite a run into transition. They are all barefoot.
And somebody is running hard and getting a gap here. And
Oh.
we see four.
Absolutely, they are charging hard. I mean, you don't have time to settle in on this course. So we are.
There's Eric Lagerstrom right there.
This is 5 minutes into the race. Look at how fast these guys are. They're putting on their helmets, shoes are going on. Some of them probably aren't even going to need glasses.
There's our champion from yesterday.
Followed by that's Brandon
Arthur
Rakita.
Serrier. So our first person
There's
is
Francisco and Sullivan. That is Josiah's son. So we're showing Eric in first.
Eric actually is in third place right
Oh,
now
he's
on the
now in
mountain bike.
third.
Yes.
Okay.
Eric's in third, and I think we have Mr. Bonacina leading the race, who is one of the top mountain bikers around.
I mean, they are literally all on top of each other exiting this transition. We should be seeing the first rider
We
popping
will see
out
the
of
first
that
rider
forest.
any moment.
But we have the sneak peek of everyone coming out of transition right behind us.
So the whole field is out.
It's like that fast. Swim is done. We are on the bike.
And the man who's leading in the tour right now with a third place yesterday and a third place in Taiwan, Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen from Denmark.
And here is our first place. It's number 4.
Is Michele Bonacina from Italy. He is leading right now.
I mean, look at how close they all are.
Everybody's right there.
This is anyone's race.
An advantage to follow somebody else's line?
I mean, you know,
To a certain degree?
you might want to be settling in right now. You know, kind of catch your breath.
Yeah.
And then get ready to just apply the pressure.
They've been on the bike for a couple minutes, and it's only 7:21 into the event.
And they only have 3 laps on this bike course.
3 laps on this bike course. Again, the bike course is 3 2.5 kilometer loops at 7.5 kilometers before getting off and running 2 1.5 kilometer loops, or 3K total.
And you'll see them going through the forest here. It's kind of the fun thing about this place is you never really have the sun beating down on you.
Yeah, I was going to say you're coming into and out of the forest, and the humidity tougher inside when you're in the woods. Do you feel the humidity more?
Yeah. I mean, humidity's humidity. You're
Right.
you're sweating up
You're
a
sweating
storm.
a storm. So it looked like Eric Lagerstrom is in second with Sam Osborne in third from the last update we saw.
Again, as we talked about in the women's race, it really comes down to how well they recovered yesterday.
Yes.
And how well they can just go hard today.
And a spectator for Eric Lagerstrom, his partner, Paula Finley, won the 70.3 race in Chattanooga this morning, drove 2.5 hours to be here to watch Eric. That's pretty fun. That's some dedication.
Some good motivation for him to do well.
Exactly.
And you'll see more riders just teetering in through here.
One of the, so again, Michele Bonacina is leading. Eric Lagerstrom is in second. Sam Osborne in third. Edmund Roy fourth. And our champion from yesterday, and he won the 2022 XTERRA World title last year, Arthur Serrière from France.
And here they are coming through what I would deem as the fun part of this course.
This is like a roller coaster. This is like a ticket at Disneyland, right? It's a fun time.
Right, bridge crossings can make some people, can
little
intimidate
nervous?
some people. Yeah, and then right off into routes.
You dig it, though.
I do.
And the routes is something that you have to deal with a lot here, right? The route system in this forest.
Yes, the East Coast and the South are known for their routes.
How are these courses different from the European courses? More straight climbing?
I'd say some European courses, this is very similar
Yes.
with the wood and the routes. I think it depends, just like the U.S., where you're at. But as you see, they are all still very bunched up. Nobody's really going to be able to open up a big gap here.
Now here's the part where you go, okay, how do you get by?
Right.
Right? How do you pass? You're going so fast. The guy in front of you is going so fast. How do you get by when it's that narrow?
I think it's also asking, do you want to pass? Right here on a hill climb.
Wait,
is
it's easier.
Yeah, this would be where I'd want to make my move, or right before the descent.
Here is our update. Michele Bonacina leading. Eric Lagerstrom in second. Sam Osborne in third. Edmund Roy in fourth. Arthur Serrière is in fifth, doing great.
Yep, and we are 10 minutes into this race.
Yes.
I think the other thing going through the minds, see how close they all are together, and you're asking, when do you want to pass? If you know you're stronger than some other athletes in the run, maybe you're just sitting there kind of chilling for a little bit so that you have the faster legs on the run course. I mean, these are things that are going through their head while they're racing right here.
Again, Michele Bonacina is leading right now and is looking great. Yesterday, he took 7th place in the race yesterday. Went 2:30, but he was 5 minutes down to the lead. So I'm sure he wants to make up for that.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good swim compared to like
Great swim.
how the results went down yesterday. We're seeing a definite change up in here.
Yes.
Wow, this guy's a mountain biker. You can tell by
Can
the
you
way
tell?
he
Why can you tell?
down
Can you
that.
tell? Just the way he handled the coming down that little hill into the little trail.
Absolutely. He was definitely relaxed on that bike.
Now you go from dirt to it looks like a little gravel, a little gravel here. Depending on the course, you change your tires, you change your inflation.
Absolutely, everything on a course.
And actually, Josiah got him back yesterday.
He did.
Yeah, it was the rubber match between those two.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine racing with a family member? That has to be so cool.
I would love it. Although my kids can't race in para, or I don't want them to.
No, you never do.
Okay, coming out of the forest again on the downhill, he is still leading.
Michele Bonacina, I love that name. That's a great one. Bonacina.
I mean, this is very close. This group could catch up to that lead group, and then it comes down to a run between like 7 people.
Do you find that a lot of times these races pack up and actually packs catch the next group?
I think since it's so new, and I don't think maybe they figured that out yet. And I don't know how much you can, whereas on the road, that's imperative to be able to work together.
We've got some change. Michele Bonacina is leading. Sam Osborne in second. Arthur Serrière in third. Kieran McPherson has moved his way up to fourth. Edmund Roy in 5th place.
So again, this is probably going to come down to who are the stronger runners. And I saw Sullivan right in the mix trying to catch these guys. Was cramping.
He was cramping, that's what his dad told us. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't finish as well as expected.
So we got Sullivan in 8th place right now, and like you said, Francisco Serrano is in 9th, and Keller Norland, who is in 11th place. That is Sullivan's teammate down at the Podium Project.
It's awesome to see young guys. That is the future of this sport.
19 years old. They're both 19 years old and
I
just having so much fun.
I remember when Sullivan was just a little guy out here doing the XTERRA kids races.
Yes. And now he's racing with the big boys and beating his dad. I think his dad was planning to retire, but now that the World Cup is happening, he wanted to support that and be part of it.
I know, we are almost 15 minutes into this race. Most race, they're all out on their second lap with one to go.
Yep, and again, this series, a 7-stop, 12 race, $350,000 prize purse across the season that started April 15th and goes through September 24th in Italy would be World Championships.
So exciting. We're going to see them coming up. Wow. It is just one after the other through all of this. Now, the other thing about off-road is, unlike road, you might not necessarily want to be on top of someone's wheel, because if they go down in front of you, they're taking you out, which is more likely to happen in mountain biking than in road racing.
And also, do you get stuff coming off the trail, coming off the tire?
Sometimes through the muddy sections, which I could see with my own eyes that there was a muddy section over here by transition.
We have had some rain this week, so there's certainly some muddy sections of the course.
I mean, thank goodness for this cloud cover, because it would be so much hotter if we did not have that.
Kaylee, right there, leading.
See, they are seriously so close to each other. Who do you think is going to have the faster run?
That's what's going to be pretty interesting, because you don't know. Arthur really had to dig deep yesterday to get away from Eric Lagerstrom. He talked about in our post-race interview that he was really surprised at how well Eric ran, and which made him go deeper. What will he have left today?
Absolutely. I mean, if I was a runner and I knew my specialty was running, oh, look at this. They just keep changing places. I would seriously be trying to save a little bit here if I knew I couldn't get away from these guys.
Do they purposely take turns, like you see on the roads where they would take turns pulling, or not necessarily?
I mean, you could say yes, but see, that is why you want to be careful not to sit on someone's wheel, because that is how you can go out too. So my whole thing is, if I feel more confident on the mountain bike, I'm going to want to lead the rest of these guys through the technical sections.
So when you see someone pull over like that, are they basically saying, I'm worried about being in somebody's weight? Oh, he overshot.
He overshot that
So it wasn't
turn.
purposeful?
No, it wasn't. He took that too hot, and that is why he
And you've never done that, obviously. Never taken anything to it.
I took everything hot.
You prefer the shorter, punchier climbs, or longer, steady
Longer.
climbs?
I like long and steady.
Yeah.
Because short and punchy could, a bigger athlete could still hang on for that, right? Whereas the lighter climber, you know, they get favored in the longer climb.
We are 17 minutes in to what we think will be close to a 30-minute race. Very exciting. This is the first ever short track race, XTERRA short track race in the U.S. Historic day. We're going to have the first ever XTERRA short course champion.
This is exciting. They are on their final lap. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. The top 4 are right on each other. 1 lap to go for these guys. 5th is not far behind.
So right now, according to what we just are looking at right now on the computer, it says Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen is in first, and Arthur Serrier is in second. Michele Bonacina has been passed and is in third. Sam Osborne in fourth, and Edmund Roy in fifth. Kieran McPherson in sixth.
I'm telling you, 7th, 8th, and 9th are not far off.
I think Josiah is in there. Josiah Middow is in there, and
they are just straight
yeah,
crushing.
Jens is the 2021 XTERRA Malta champion, and he was third in the race yesterday and third in Taiwan. What did you see?
Josiah just passed us. He just came around transition. So his son has opened up a gap on him. Josiah's sitting in 10th.
He's sitting in 10th place right now. Yes, he is. And so right now we have Sullivan in 7th and his dad in 10th.
This is going to change up the points.
Might be some action in the run. Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen in first, Arthur Serrer in second, Michele Bonacina in third, Sam Osborne in fourth, Edmund Roy in fifth.
And there goes Sullivan. See, they're keeping close together. I mean, I hope these guys are nice and recovered because it's kind of come down to that run.
Let's see where Eric Lagerstrom has dropped to. Eric Lagerstrom is, I see him somewhere. Oh, sorry, he's in 8th place. Eric's hanging in there.
He is, and he's a runner, so he could
Oh,
pull
yeah.
this out.
He's probably wondering if he left his running legs in the transition in his T2 bag.
He's gonna need them for this run.
He is. Oh. I like all the little obstacles, little bridges. Just keeps you entertained as an athlete.
I definitely was gonna say that as a spectator and as an athlete, having the bridges and the little up ramps, I would call them, it just makes it more fun.
It's almost a little cyclocrossy. Yeah, without having to get off your bike and running, but it's just a really cool deal. And I like the fact that athletes are doing both. They're doing the long course on Saturday and the short course on Sunday, and their short track on Sunday, not necessarily saying, okay, this is the race I want, I feel better at. You need to do both.
Absolutely.
Find out where you're at.
I do, because I think it just gives everybody, whether you're better at long course or better kind of in that sprint area, that it just gives everyone a different opportunity to do well and showcase their talents.
I bet you as an athlete, having crowds on the course, right, and having a short event like this with other athletes around has to be pretty fun, because like you said, most of the time you're off by yourself.
Absolutely. I think having spectators cheer for you, having all eyes on you, makes you dig a little deeper than if you're out in the middle of nowhere and no one can see you. You might tend to kind of take a breather, go a little bit easier. Here, you can't do that. It is just go, go, go.
And for our guy, Arthur Serrer from France, who won yesterday, 2022 XTERRA World Champion, 2021-22 World Triathlon Cross-Tri Champion. Here comes our group again. 3 athletes right together.
1, 2, 3. They've kind of opened up a gap.
It looks like they did. They did put a gap.
So who do we have sitting in fourth?
It looks like that's Sam Osborne. I think Sam Osborne in fourth. I bet by the 3rd lap this hill gets a little steeper.
Absolutely. Every obstacle hurts a little bit more.
Transition, sometimes you let up maybe a little too much, and you don't want to get gapped going into that run. It's hard to make up ground once the run starts.
Absolutely, because these guys are all strong. I mean, they're all strong runners.
So get to be a little cat and mouse as you're coming in. Who's going to come in first in the transition? It's not like there's any bonuses for coming in first in transition. All matters is winning the race.
Maybe that's something they should add. You know, in crit racing, you have like preems.
Yes.
And it could be like, if you get to this section first, you win new tires.
Coming in, there's Paula Finley taking photos of the boys coming in.
All right, 1, 2, 3, here they are. Oh, I'm surprised. Okay, one got one shoe off. The other 2 kept their shoes on. I mean, that's because it was how close it was.
Let's watch how quick these guys transition and get out on the road.
And rules are you always have to have your bike rack, so you can't just like throw it in transition.
Yes.
Get the see
Arthur.
See how much, and 4th place
Arthur
is
and
now
Jens.
caught up.
Michele got out there. Kaylee got out there quickly.
So that is our
Arthur Serrer, and then he is right with Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen. First out. I think we should see Arthur coming. Right.
Oh my goodness. Sullivan has just entered
I
transition.
think Sam Osborne just ran by us.
Yes, he's
Here
in 4th.
we go.
He's sitting in 4th.
Arthur Serrer is leading. Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen in 2nd. Michele Bonacina having a great race. Sam Osborne, who just ran by us, in 4th. And there we're talking, what, 3 seconds separate, 13 seconds separating those 4.
It's crazy. So basically, our World Cup leader is in 2nd right now?
Yes. That's not a bad place to be.
And our winner from yesterday is in 1st right now.
Yes, he is. And he was so, he was out a little bit, right there. Here they come. Here comes Josiah Middow.
And Paco, known as Francisco.
Took Josiah 15 tries to win XTERRA World Championship in 2015. He got it done.
Man, this is it. shaping up to be a very close race.
It is. Again, Arthur Serrier leading, Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen, Michele Bonacina, Sam Osborne in fourth, Edmund Roy in fifth, Kieran McPherson in sixth, Sullivan Middow in seventh, Eric Lagerstrom in eighth, Josiah Middow in ninth, and Francisco Serrano in 10th. They are they're all right there.
Yep. I mean, these guys are just absolutely crushing
Sam
it.
Osborne. And Sam Osborne earlier this year was racing in Australia, and oh, I don't know, he got hit by a kangaroo. There's our guy from Project Podium.
Nice.
Looking really good.
Leaving transition,
That's
I think.
Norland. Norland leaving transition. He's behind his teammate Sullivan, but he can make up some ground.
All right, we have almost all of our bikers in
Yes.
to transition, and everyone's almost out onto the run. There's our leader.
There's Arthur Serrier, who he started his season out after winning Worlds last year, and he went to Taiwan, coming from the winter of France, and decided, I'll come to Taiwan 3 days before the race, and just melted. I think he was seventh at that Asia Pacific race.
Oh, he's looking good here.
He's looking great. And that was Michele Bonacina. That was your guy Paco just ran by.
Yeah, he just ran by.
Yes, he did. Sam Osborne, no kangaroos here, looking great.
He does. He's crushing that downhill.
Great form.
It's exciting to learn all of these new racers. I mean,
I
there's
know,
literally
yes.
only 3 from my day. So
But Sam Osborne is in 5th place, and he's was in 5th place yesterday. And really, he was 2:27.04. The winner was 2:25.30. So we're talking less than 2 minutes separated the top 5.
I mean, it's crazy. Today it might only be like 20 seconds.
Separated in the top 5, no question. What phenomenal racing, everybody. This is so much fun to watch. All right, again, Arthur Serrier is leading. Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen is right there with him. Michele Bonacina is 2 seconds back, or was 2 seconds back in transition. Sam Osborne was 13 seconds back. It's grown a little bit.
And we are at 27.5 minutes.
So, you know what? We think this race will be over in about 30. So, very possible.
They need to run faster, so
Yes,
we're
they
right.
do. Runners side by side.
Oh, look at that. As you can see, running along the water. That's such a great shot right there.
That's beautiful. Such a beautiful shot. Look at that stride.
Oh, he looks good. Is that our current third place?
I'm thinking it's Arthur Serrier, but I want to make sure we get sights on him to make sure.
It's our first place.
That's it.
Yes, won yesterday. Looking like it might be
Double, looking for the
today.
double.
He is going hard.
When he got here today, he was like, I think I need about 5 or 6 cups of coffee.
He did. He went and got one right before the start.
Right away, he got one right there.
And here we have our second place running alongside transition, who's our
Jens
overall.
Emil Sloth-Nielsen, who was wearing the gold cap in the swim because he is
our
the leader
leader
of the cup. You know who's having a great run is Michele Bonacina. He is running really, really great. Great job, Michele. Good job.
And this is third place on screen right now. You can see him in third.
Yes. And so they are in the final lap here. And
They are, and
that's
Sam
Sam Osborne
is
in
in
fourth.
fourth.
Yep. Sam Osborne is great. Go, Sam. He looks amazing.
Oh my goodness, he is hunting him down. Does he have enough? Does he have enough real estate? Is one lap? Can he close that gap? I mean, right now it's all or nothing. You just have to go at this point. You got to dig so deep. Here we have a chunk of racers coming through along transition right now.
I see Eric Lagerstrom in that group.
But on the screen, you just saw Sam. So
Yes,
this
you
is
did.
the group we're seeing right
That's
now.
that's McPherson going through, and Eric was right there. Lagerstrom was right there behind him. There's our leader.
There's our leader.
His turnover is exceptional.
Oh, he's legit.
Arthur Serrier. So he was, he was not happy with his start of the season, and he's making up for it. And Here we have Sullivan Middow on Team Project Podium.
And on screen, you'll see our second place,
That's it,
who is the
Jens.
current World Cup leader.
It is Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen, and I'm guessing if he gets second here, he will hold on to that. Your guy Paco, who you've been racing with forever from Mexico, having another good race, just solid.
And our third place.
This is our guy Michele Bonacina.
Yeah. He's looking really good
Really
as well.
good, and he's followed in fourth by Sam Osborne. I think it's really going to be tough to bridge for any of these guys. Everybody starts to be in their own little zip code right now.
Right.
Makes it really, really hard to you're trying to hold off the guy behind you and make sure you're not caught. That you can hopefully catch the guy in front of you if something happens, and you've seen it. 2 years ago, XTERRA Worlds, Leslie Patterson came from behind and catch in the last part. And there's our leader, Arthur Serrier, who's just having a phenomenal.
He's just crushing it.
He's just having such a good race. And Eric Lagerstrom from that Triathlon Life. Phenomenal YouTube show. If you get a chance, check it out. Michele.
Still sitting in third.
Bonacina.
See, something like that. Like if he had tripped and fallen.
Yeah, done. The guy right behind him is right there.
But he executed that quite well.
Phenomenal. So they're on the last part of the last lap. Again, our distances are 400 swim, 7.5K bike, and they're in the latter portions of 3K run.
He should be coming into the finish line pretty soon.
He should.
Right now, here comes.
There's that Sam Osborne, who is in
fourth place.
Yes.
I mean, definitely first and third. Their turnover, they look so strong.
Sam was fifth yesterday and move up a spot today. That'd be great. Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen.
More racers.
Yep.
They are top 10.
Look at the turnover.
I know, that's why I say he looks so strong for being in third place.
Yeah. Michele Bonacina.
That is Sullivan. Beating his dad.
Yeah, he is. And you know that's what he's thinking about. You know, Dad got me yesterday. I want to get him today.
And that is Sam Osborne still hanging on to fourth. Yeah, Sullivan used to be shorter than me.
No way.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, come on now. There's no way.
Oh, look at that. He looks so good coming into the finish.
I think we'll be able to see him momentarily coming right along there.
Yep, he is alongside the lake.
32:47 right now. And he should be heading towards the fin. I think I see.
I see his
might have
head
lapped
bobbing up over the finish line chute. Here he comes.
The cameraman behind him.
Getting his workout. Look at that. I mean,
Arthur
absolutely looks fantastic.
Serrier, the double. Winning long course yesterday, winning short track today. From France, the 2022 XTERRA World Champion, Arthur Serrier, having a phenomenal weekend.
I mean, such a strong race.
Wow.
And here comes our overall World Cup leader in second place.
Yes, Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen started out in the gold swim cap. Going to come across the line with the silver medal today.
I believe he'll still hold on to his.
I think he will.
His leader's
yes.
jersey. And here comes third place.
Great race for Michele Bonacina.
I mean, he just looked great to the finish.
Look at that.
Super strong, and we should be seeing Sam.
Michele Bonacina, great job.
And here comes our fourth place.
Sam Osborne. Sam, who was fifth yesterday, fourth today. Great
Moved
weekend.
Up a spot.
He did. His partner Samantha got a third.
Here comes
yesterday.
Fifth place. Here comes fifth place into the finish line right now. He just crossed the finish line. He's from New Zealand.
Yeah, it's in Kieran McPherson, like that.
And sixth place is
Eric Lagerstrom. I love it. And
oh,
then Josiah
Middow. Oh, wow, he came from behind.
Edmund Roy coming in from Canada. These guys are looking great.
Josiah was outside of the top 10.
I know, he had a great run.
He ran inside the top 10.
Did he just run past his kid?
He did.
I think that's child abuse. I don't know if he can do that. Edmund Roy, and then Sullivan Meadow, and it's bragging rights for Dad. Oh, my God.
Josiah took the bragging rights back.
Like that. That is amazing.
Good for him. As a parent, I like
That's
crushing my
amazing.
children. I do not let my children win.
Francisco Serrano.
Yay, Paco.
And Paco, what a great race
From
for Paco.
Mexico. I mean, I love seeing 40-year-olds on there. When I started, Ned Overend, the great Ned Overend, was in his 40s, and he crushed it.
He was still crushing it. I like it. Wow, and we're what? We're like just like 33-ish, something like that. Yeah, our winning time was 33:20, and then 33:28. I'm sorry, 33:45 for Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen. All right.
Comes another
This is Keller Norland, who's on Project Podium, and then Elliot Hoffman from Canada. Great race.
Nice. I definitely give a thumbs up to short track racing.
I like it a lot. It's pretty fun.
And here comes another finisher.
Okay. Our next finisher is Sebastian Carabin. Great job.
From
Belgium, where the next stop on this series is.
So he's going to have home turf advantage.
Totally home turf advantage. Way to go, Sebastian. Great race.
And they're going to be going from this hot, humid race to a much cooler race in Belgium.
Belgium, June.
I have never been there, and it hasn't. Well, I guess it on the coast. I race in Houston. It's cold
always
all the time.
all the cold. Is it raining all the time?
It can be.
Yes. Wow. We're talking, we're still 36 minutes into this.
Here comes another finisher from the U.S.
Sam Teller. Sam Teller from the U.S. Great race for Sam. Sporting number 14. Really, really good race for Sam. There's nothing better than drone footage.
Oh, I love
Right?
it. Like this is the way to go
Oh my
these
God.
days. We used to have helicopters, okay?
Yeah, get blown off, right? when you're racing on a trail, like you're in Tahoe, wherever you are, and all of a sudden that chopper comes along. Here comes another finisher.
Yes.
This is Steve Croucher from the USA. Good job. Steve Croucher with a great race for him here. And here comes one of your buddies.
Brandon Rakita.
Brandon Rakita,
From the
who is
US.
also in his 40s. And this was a really good race, especially this is not his forte. This is short.
He
and
likes
he had a
the
great
longer
race.
stuff,
And here
yeah.
comes another finisher. This is,
From Canada.
all right, Elliot Benubi.
You know, in the past,
Yes.
I'd say in the previous years, you'd always see very American and Canadian strong here, and I love seeing the
All the
representation
internationals
from
is
Europe.
great. Calvin Walsh from Canada. Yeah, when you look at those first, it's France, Denmark, Italy, New Zealand, USA, USA. Canada.
Where are the Aussies?
You know, that is a good point. I have not seen, but yeah, it goes France with Arthur Terrier, followed by Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen. The Danish, both in road, they are really killing it right now with Daniel Bakkegaard and Magnus Dietlif and Mickey Togholt and Michelle Visterbeef on the women's side. There's some really deep fields. And, Jens actually trains with some of the athletes, some of the road athletes.
Looks like they might be getting ready to do an interview with our winner.
Yes, again, our champion, Arthur Serrier. Second place was Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen. Third was Michele Bonacina from Italy. Fourth, Sam Osborne from New Zealand. Kieran McPherson from New Zealand. Eric Lagerstrom. Great race for Eric. Great weekend for them with that triathlon life with Paula Findlay winning 70.3 Chattanooga this morning and Eric getting second yesterday and then coming and getting sixth.
They're just calling up the podium right now. This is our third place.
Sixth place, Lagerstrom. Yes. Good job, Michele.
Representing Denmark, taking second place, Jens Nielsen.
International podium. Nothing better.
Very cool.
I think these guys have all done this before.
Absolutely. You never want to be in the front row of the podium,
No.
or you will get champagne.
He caught him in the eye. I love it.
Oh, how sticky that must be.
That was some great racing. Just some great racing. That was 30 minutes of fun, man. I'm a fan.
We need
Short
to get
track racing.
We need to get
more.
a para event.
Yes, we do. Para short track. That'd be great. Short track racing is here to stay. The first event here in the U.S., the first ever short track event here in the U.S. Huge success. Great racing on the men's side and the women's side. We got an interview coming up with our leader. With our with
I feel so happy because I tried to do a podium in a short track for a long time, and I'm very happy to be here and race.
What was the crowd like today? Were you getting fired up by everybody cheering for you?
Oh yes, I saw a lot of support from all the crowd, and it was amazing. Yeah, thank you so much.
Perfect. And in Italian for me, how does it feel to take third here at the first Oak Mountain Short Track?
In Italian? Ah, una figata. No, veramente sono molto contento di essere arrivato terzo. È stata una gara veramente dura ma divertentissima, adoro questo format.
Perfetto, grazie.
Grazie a tutti, thank you so much.
There you have it. Third place from Italy.
Here's our second place finisher.
Yes.
Overall, still overall leader, I believe.
Yeah, it's a great day. It was amazing out there. Really fun, fast racing. I forgot how tough it is and how much damage you have to do on that first lap of the bike. Really just suffer. And I tried to get to the front and I felt really far, but then suddenly, yeah, I was at the front but I couldn't drop them. And I tried a bit, but they hold on and onto the run. I knew it would be a fast one. It's like running with Kipchoge to go out without to, so that's a tough one. But I'm happy to take second, and I'm really happy for Bonacina as well to finish up third. It was a great battle with those guys. I really appreciate fighting with them.
What's the experience like for you, Oak Mountain, the first short track in the United States? What's it been like for you?
Yeah, it's been a blast. There's always so many new stuff to consider when you go across the world to race, but it's amazing. These two first stops of XTERRA have been amazing, like going to Taiwan and then going here and now going to Europe. It's different cultures, it's different racing, and it's just amazing to be on this circuit.
Excellent. And one more time for me in Danish.
Ja.
How does it feel to take second short track here in the United States, Oak Mountain?
Det var for fedt at køre her i Danmark og give den gas. Nej. Det var I haven't spoken Danish in a while. Det var for fedt at køre her i USA og mærke stemningen og bare race med amerikanske fyre fra hele verden, og de bedste fra Europa er her også. Så det var en fantastisk weekend, og jeg er glad for at tage 2 podieplaceringer, og jeg er klar til at give den gas i Belgien.
Congratulations. Season a little rocky. You made up for it the past few days. Tell us to first ever short track in the United States.
I don't know. It's like just winning a short track for me. I used to have some short track in Europe, so yeah, it's quite cool to have this kind of weekend. USA delivers something special about sports. It's a world class event here, so I'm really happy to take win on long course and short track both, and really happy about my feeling today. I didn't expect something like that, and I'm quite happy. And we had a good battle. Yeah, thanks for everything. Thanks to the organization. The event was very well. So yeah, happy, and I'm looking forward to go back in US another time for a race like this.
Perfect. You came out of the water behind. Talk about how the race unfolded and where you took the lead, and did you know that you were going to take the win?
I don't know. I have good feelings until the start of the race. I think I managed my swimming because on the second lap I was really easy and I just say, okay, it's 10 seconds on 2 or 3 guys, so it's okay for me. I will have a fast transition. I have a fast transition and I have like so much strength on the bike. I didn't expect something like that. And I took the lead, I think, slowly, like in control. I know Jens Emil is really strong on short track. He's a guy who can push very well on bike. So I just waiting for Jens Emil and try to don't have any mistake. Just go up, pass some guys, take the lead, and after that, Jens Emil come. I think I can take the lead at the end of the bike, but I let Jens going in the first in transition area because he have to push a lot to come back, take me and take the lead. And after on a run, I know I am a speedy runner, so I start really strong as usual to just the other guys say, it's not possible to follow this guy. And I struggle a bit on the second loop, but yeah, it was quite good today.
One more time in French for us. How does it feel to win here at Oak Mountain, yesterday and today?
C'est des super sensations. Je suis super content de mon week-end aux États-Unis. Je m'attendais vraiment pas à gagner les 2 courses et surtout celle-ci avec des super sensations. Maintenant, il faut retourner en Europe et continuer comme ça. Merci XTERRA, merci à tout le monde.
Congratulations.
There you have it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I think we're trying to see if we can get interviews with our other top women who raced a little earlier, Jamie. Men's race, women's race, pretty fun.
It was a very exciting.
So exciting.
I love how they interview them in English and then
Yes.
they get to speak in their native tongue. That's always exciting.
I like the fact that Jens Emil couldn't remember Danish.
Or Danish. Yeah. Where's he from?
Denmark. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's very cool.
Well, in Europe, they speak so many languages.
I know. I can barely speak English. All right, so
Okay.
we're going to check out some highlights from today.
The men's race.
Hey.
So there's our.
All right, check out our highlights. Oh, all right.
You know, it was very close and tight from that swim.
And, you know, you can tell the race yesterday for Eric Lagerstrom took something out of him because he wasn't off the front of the swim. But then he made up that ground in the second lap, got his mojo going. And I think one of the biggest things was seeing Mr. Bonacina right up there early. And, yeah, Mr. Bonacina was right there. And
I mean, all of them were so close together coming to transition. And then here they are on the bike. I mean, he led for quite a bit until he was caught. And then, you know, that group of 4 just really stuck together.
The thing was, and you know this, is Arthur Serrier knows he's the best runner. They know he's the best runner. So he's able to sort of play a little chess. There's no reason to go to the lead on the bike, be within striking distance. And by the end of the bike, he was right in there, and he was first out of transition, and it was ball game.
I mean, absolutely. When you know you're not a strong runner,
You gotta get away.
You have to get away from the rest of the people.
And that's exactly what was going on, as everybody else was trying to get away. And Arthur was like, as long as I don't crash, as long as I sit right where I'm at, I know Jens Emil is there, but I'm in great position.
But I mean,
And he
look
was.
at how tight they all are.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes it so exciting to be that close together, that top 4. And then those 3 opened up a little bit of a gap on Sam.
And Arthur just sat.
Yep.
Right? He just sat in exactly the right position. It was really masterful watching him just manipulate the course and knowing, okay, I'm going to come in like right here. These guys come in, And who's the first guy? Is right there.
And then the key was
Right there.
Yep.
Boom. Done. Game over.
Game on.
Yeah.
And they all, I must say, all of the men looked very strong on that run.
And once Arthur was off on his own, there was no catching him. And I think if I'm Jens Emil, he knows that he's still going to be leading the cup.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, the key is going to be these next races, making sure you don't allow anyone to sneak in and grab points.
Right. Keep your head on a swivel. You don't want to get past in the chute.
There he is, all smiles. I
Yes,
mean, you
yes.
know, maybe he could have gone a little harder.
Oh, yeah. But 33 minutes, very impressive.
And our third place finisher.
I love the camaraderie, and I like the fact that Jens Emil said, hey, I was so